Good morning, world. My name's Raheem Flowers, and it's a beautiful day. Getting in tune with nature, chilling on a beautiful Sunday, and just watching the beautiful women and seeing the children. And since we're on the subject of getting in tune with nature and whatnot, I wanted to discuss something that could be relatable universally with mankind, and that's the laws of nature. Now, you see, I had a good discussion with my homie, and he was speaking about how there are the hardships of being a black man in America, and how there's a fundamental difference within each ethnic group and nationalities and your geographs, like being a Caribbean black such as myself, or being an African black like an Akon or a Michael Blackson or something. And even though there are truths to that to a degree when it comes to preconceptions, I mean, even that rhetoric alone is a form of ethnocentricity and just taking things at face value, not realizing that when you're in America and you have melanin skin, and my homie knows this is not something that he would argue. I'm aware of that. We've had discussions like this all the time. However, back to what I'm saying, you're still just gonna be looked at as another nigga. Or as a YouTuber known as Proverbial Hater once said, you'll still just be looked at as someone who is considered an exotic nigga. Point blank, period. I mean, I even thought about when my homie was bringing up something of the nature of a light skin hierarchy going on. And it is true that someone who's light-skinned, such as myself, would, on the surface, receive more privileges and be looked at in a higher regard in society because of the superficial ways. And just because white people, more or less, they took over the game, because whether just due to the imperialism and plundering and whatnot, and that's the cards that was dealt with. But that's only applicable to light-skinned people who are subservient to what is called white society. That doesn't apply to somebody like Aaron McGruder. That doesn't apply to somebody like the great Malcolm X. That doesn't apply to somebody like Louis Farrakhan. That doesn't even apply to somebody like Elijah Muhammad. That doesn't apply to somebody like Nat Turner, etc. And even if we do go off of the whole notion of being a fundamental difference between being a black person in America and being a black Caribbean or African, you gotta think about Nelson Mandela, Bishop Desmond Tutu, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, Stokely Carmichaels, Malcolm X, and for what's worth, even Bob Marley, even though many would argue because he's biracial and whatnot. But, I mean, that's a divisive rhetoric within itself, and in my personal opinion is non-constructive. So, all that light skin stuff and all that black Caribbean and African stuff means nothing at the end of the day. And I got mad love for my black American brothers and sisters, even though I currently don't like the mentality due to blaxploitation, due to the naivety, due to outside forces, i.e. this white daddy government, or whether it be feminazis, whether it be Africans who during these tribal warfares, I mean, You got to take the world for what it is, and then you got to turn shit into sugar, as a great book by Robert Greene and 50 Cent, aka Curtis Jackson, once said. Optimism. Put alchemy. I mean, that's something that many black people, especially in America, were able to do. They were able to make a shitty situation into something good. I mean, you gotta even look at it like this. How is it that black people in the late 1800s, in the 20th century, were able to be enriched? You had Rosewood, you had Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, you had the Harlem Renaissance, you had black men building the traffic light, and even a black woman who helped discover the internet because her son helped discover the global internet. It's a British fella, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But the point I'm trying to make is that we can rant and vent about our situations all day, but at the end of the day, it's only up to us to make it better. And having this mindset, this overall train of thought, like ethnocentricity, doesn't make it better. All it does is just see things at face value, and you never see eye to eye with each other. In fact, it's probably going to turn to something with an eye for an eye. And I don't like to quote this dude, but fuck it. I mean, Gandhi brought up a great point. An eye for an eye leaves the world blind. And I just wish more people would just get that we all have our problems in this world. And we have to acknowledge that certain people have it better than others. Light-skinned people do have it better than dark-skinned brothers, typically. I mean, my situation was different. People in my family, in my immediate household, were primarily dark-skinned, outside of me and my mother. They were either brown-skinned to dark-skinned. And growing up here in the States, one thing that I've seen, this constant message that I was getting was I was not black enough for the blacks, nor was I Caribbean enough for the Caribbeans. So I ended up making my own identity, and I'm not mad at that. That's what it is, and that's what it's gonna be, and I'm cool with that, because that's the beauty of being a human. We don't have to go by this monolithic role. We don't have to be no one-dimensional being like out of a cheap, tacky cartoon. We could be whoever the fuck we want to be. You can't let no entity, no man, no woman tell you how your life is going to be determined. And I just wish more black people had that train of thought, instead of going off of this Willie Lynch, or going off of, oh man, you talk like a white boy, man. You don't talk black. You don't engage in black activity. I mean, all that shit has become anything related to culture are social constructs. So people focus too much on demographic, even with age, all this bigotry, preconception, separatism. I mean, it doesn't do nothing constructive for the world. And Negroes will look for anything to hate on each other for. Whether it be how much Jordans he got, how much swag he got, how many bodies he got on him. Like, the most frivolous things that you could think of that are regressive. Honestly, this is just my overall thoughts. And it was a video I saw. I never thought I would ever find myself watching the whole video by Sergeant Willie Pete, but I did. And for the most part, I agree with damn near everything he said. I mean, shoot, it is, black people have embraced shit, or a polished turd culture, as he put it. I mean, shoot. There's just too much people that happen to be melanin that live in a comfortably miserable state. And there needs to be something done about it. Fuck it. Ethnocentricity, trying to be a real nigga, and just looking for any reason to hold negative energy and negativity is just gonna be digging a deeper hole. And I think that's all I'm gonna pretty much say, world. I'm out. Have a good day. Oh, and another thing. I'm not giving black Africans and black Caribbeans a pass. Not by a fucking long shot. And let me go expound on what I'm saying. When you got Caribbeans who don't want to identify as being black and say I'm Creole, and you want to look down on black Americans, and you think that somehow you're just this exotic, majestic creature that the world just loves and praises, worships. Nah, you still just another nigga at the end of the day. You still came here off of a boat. You still would be looked at as the property of Queen Elizabeth II. I mean, let's talk about Africans as well. I mean, when you say we don't associate with those black Americans, guess what? You help manufacture those black Americans. How? Because of your transactions during the African slave trade, which helped lead off to the transatlantic slave trade. And now you got a lot of black Africans emulating what is called the black culture today. Isn't that ironic how you can shit on, denigrate, get on black Americans, but then you want to emulate, imitate, mimic, whatever you want to say, their lifestyle. And you started the whole prelude to the fuck shit that you see today. You assisted those white settlers and helped those overseers create the Frankenstein known as the nigga archetype. So now you have all this negativity emitting. So black Africans ain't in no position to speak. And back to black Caribbeans. I mean, I've been hearing people all my life talk about, oh, I'm not black, I'm Belizean. I'm not black, I'm Jamaican. I'm not black, I'm Ethiopian. You see, you can't try to hide behind that coat, that shield, when it's convenient for you. But then when shit goes south, or you feel like it would be a misrepresentation of you, oh, somehow you're a completely different entity. I may be considered a North Sider from Chicago, but I'm still a Chicagoan. Just because I don't rep that Chirac bullshit that a lot of people from the South Side do, doesn't mean that I'm not from Chicago. I mean, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. So, I think it's incredibly hypocritical. It's asinine for any Caribbean and African to get on Black Americans being a certain way, when not only have we emulated, we help engineer the chaos and all the BS that goes on within those communities. Shoot. I mean, that's probably why Puerto Ricans could get away with saying the word nigger. And we're cool with calling them black. But let a black man date a Puerto Rican girl, they're gonna say, oh, he don't like him black women, he like them Spanish girls. But wait a minute. I thought that blacks and Puerto Ricans are one and the same. This goes back to what I said about the whole divisiveness. I mean, I understand that there are white Puerto Ricans and black Puerto Ricans. And I understand, that's why I said black Caribbeans. That's why I even specified it. Because you can always be within a certain nationality but of a different race, so to speak. So, yeah. Leave all that hate and ethnocentricity to the white people that you claim to despise. And now I'm out.